Guys, what's up? It's Flying Squirrel. I know I'm late for this video, one of the biggest fights of the year, and I'm waiting till Wednesday. It's ridiculous. But last night, my laptop crashed twice while I was editing. I got all the way through, and then I went to go edit, and it said, "Surprise, mother, recording not saved." Other time I was recording, I got almost all the way through, and my laptop, it just said. So this is my third time trying this video. Ironically, this is also Charles Oliveira's third time fighting for a vacant title. Let's get into it. This weekend, Charles Oliveira is going to be fighting Ilia Topuria. This is Ilia Topuria's lightweight debut. He just moved up from 145, and Ilia Topuria is favored to win heavily. Pretty much all the big brain MMA analysts, they've been doing their calculations, right? And they're able to say 2 + 2 = 4. Ilia Topuria always finds the chin, and Charles Oliveira always gets dropped in round 1. So everyone is predicting Ilia by knockout. And I'm not gonna lie, I think Ilia has a very high chance of knocking out my GOAT. And I'm scared about that. Ilia Topuria, he has been brimming with confidence as usual, walking around talking about, "Oh, poor Charles, he's just a name in the front of me and I have to get my legacy," right? He's been talking crazy, man. Crazy thing, like anime villain level stuff that this man has been saying.
That I'm gonna touch someone and I'm gonna take his lights out. Even if I don't need to touch his chin. I just touch his head and it will explode. I feel so powerful at that weight.
Bro, he's gonna touch his head and it will explode. This is some like anime villain level type, like Perfect Cell when he came to Earth and he... "Who is your greatest warrior? I want to face them in the tournament. I have already absorbed Alex Volkanovski and Max Holloway. You can send me young Gohan or Charles Oliveira." That's how he's moving, bro. That's how he's moving. You can't be talking like that, Ilia. You can't be talking like that, especially when you're fighting our favorite fighter. Yes, I said our favorite fighter, Charles "Du Bronx" Oliveira.
This means something to me, man.
But man, this guy, Ilia Topuria, he's undefeated. We don't talk about the fact that he's undefeated enough. He's one of the greatest ever featherweights already. He's Spain's golden boy. He's Georgia's golden boy. But here's what no one is talking about. And look, guys, I had to make some kind of different video because everyone is thinking the same thing about this fight. So I had to look at a different angle, and here's my angle. Moving up a weight class is way harder than people think. And I have stats to prove it. I'm gonna show you in this video that it's actually it's against the odds that Ilia Topuria wins this fight, actually. And I don't know why no one is talking about this. Because Ilia, he's explosive, right? He's confident, he's technical. He's one of the greatest to do it at his weight class. But you know what? People said the same exact thing about Aljamain Sterling, and how is that going? Aljamain Sterling is up a weight class. How has that been going for him? Has he knocked anyone out? People said the same thing about Davison Figueiredo, one of the greatest to do it at flyweight. How's it going for him at bantamweight? Has he knocked anyone out yet? This is kind of interesting, huh?
This can't be.
One of the greatest to do it at featherweight, Alex Volkanovski. What happened when he went up to lightweight? Twice. He did lose 2 times. Last time he got done badly against Islam Makhachev. Bro, the list goes on. Israel Adesanya, one of the greatest to do it at middleweight. What happened when he went up to 205? When he was tired of fighting Marvin Vettori rematches in the Apex. What did he do? He went up to 205. Jan Blachowicz spoiled the party, man. Who else, man? This list goes on. Max Holloway, he went up to 155 at one point and got pieced up by Dustin Poirier.
Is that funny?
Luke Rockhold went up to 205 at one point and had a freaking Zack Snyder Hollywood explosion knockout by Jan Blachowicz again. Look at Herb Neal. Who else we got? Chris Weidman. Same story, went up to 205. Granted, he was washed at this point. Got knocked out by Dominic Reyes. Even Daniel Cormier. Daniel Cormier, one of the best to do it ever, right? At 205. What happened when he went up to heavyweight? He won 1 match against Stipe, but he lost 2 matches against Stipe. There's a pattern here. There is a pattern here. And the odds of Ilia actually moving up and Ilia actually delivering on what he's saying they are not in his favor. Yes, I know this man is moving like Jiren in the Tournament of Power. Yes, I know he's moving like Cell in the Cell Saga. I know he's already absorbed 2 of our GOATs and his power, it looks like it's doubling. But here's the thing people are overlooking, bro. Size matters. Everybody in the UFC is skilled. When you get up to the high weight classes, except for maybe in heavyweight. But up a weight class, bro, the punches are heavier. The guys are stronger. The pace is going to be different. It's not going to be just about technique. It's going to be about power. It's going to be about durability. It's going to be about frame. Ilia, he might have all the tools at 145, but lightweight is not featherweight, bro. Oliveira has been in there with monsters. He's been in there with Poirier, Chandler, Gaethje, Islam, Arman Sarukian. He's been in there. He's taken damage like this for 42 fights now against these guys who are cutting weight from 180 plus pounds, okay? I'm telling you guys, on the way home from work today, I listened to Count Me Out by Kendrick the whole way home. You thought I was going to listen to Count Me Out by Kendrick the whole drive home just to come here and make a video about how Charles is doomed?
I love when you count me out.
Dude, I can't do that. This is my favorite fighter, Charles Oliveira. Ilia, he can talk all that he wants about how he's naturally big. We've seen the pics, bro. We've seen you next to Raul Rosas Jr. You're not that big. You're not. Size is going to play a factor. Charles Oliveira is not a small lightweight. Charles Oliveira has to cut weight so bad. He looks like a skeleton when he makes weight. His eyes are sucked into his skull. His saliva is probably like cornstarch. Charles Oliveira has to borderline kill himself to make 155, which is probably why he gets dropped every fight, because his brain isn't hydrated. But like I said, this isn't about how Charles loses. This video is about how Charles wins, okay? Ilia Topuria, he's eating steak and paella and enjoying his weight cut.
This is the happiest I ever have been in my training camps because of the weight cut. I have been able to enjoy the whole.
Okay, I'm glad you're enjoying the whole process. You know who's not enjoying the whole process and who's going to be pissed off when he fights you, bro? This guy. So Charles, he's going to be bigger. He's going to have just as big a thump as you do at 45. Your thump is not going to be as new to him as you think it will be. It won't shock him. I name all these other guys. All these other guys I named, it's because we had the same exact narrative about them. They were all the GOATs in their division. Not GOATs, I use that lightly, but these were all top guys in their former division, champions in their former division. And when they move up, the power, it did not transfer. It did not transfer. There's only been one person where the power actually transferred. And ironically, that's the person who Ilia has somehow copied his whole career. But the thing is, when Conor McGregor moved up to 155 and he knocked out Eddie Alvarez, no offense to Eddie Alvarez, but the champion has a name. The champion's name is not Eddie Alvarez. Charles Oliveira is a different level. This isn't the same guy, okay? So the chances of Ilia Topuria walking in there and just knocking out Ilia Topuria, I don't think it's really that likely. As much as we think it's likely, I don't think it's that likely. This is going to be a big, mean Charles Oliveira. He said he's going to be walking towards you talking about, "O campeão se chama Charles Oliveira," right? He's going to be throwing his flying knees. He's going to be throwing his 1-2s down the pipe. Hey, you know what's the crazy thing about someone who throws 1-2s down the pipe? It really sucks if their height and their reach advantage is way more than you. That's something that kind of sucks. And that's kind of how he fights. Cadê o meu cinto? Uma coisa se falta. Cadê o meu cinto? The champion has a name. It's Charles Oliveira. I don't think this is going to be as easy as Ilia Topuria thinks. If he wins, he's the real deal. And I do think it's a very high chance that he wins. But don't be surprised if this weight class difference catches up with Ilia Topuria. We've seen it happen so many times before. Because what happens if Charles just eats the punch and keeps piecing him up at range? And he just wins a decision, tires him out. What happens if Ilia Topuria's grappling that we literally have never seen in the UFC? What happens if his grappling isn't as good as the best grapplers grappling in the UFC history? What happens if he's actually not as good at grappling as Charles Oliveira? Huh? What are the chances that someone's jiu-jitsu is better than Charles Oliveira? Have we thought about that? Or are we just getting blinded by the aura of Ilia Topuria? Me too. Hey, me too. I love to see greatness happen, but we got to be realistic. Numbers-wise, there's no one with better jiu-jitsu. So what he's trying to do is very difficult. Moving up, it sounds like it's going to work until it doesn't. It sounds like it's going to work until reality hits. And what everyone is missing about Ilia Topuria moving up is how hard it really is. But I got to say, bro, if anybody can do it, it will be Ilia Topuria.